Show called SpongeBob SquarePants. Well, guys, I want to tell you a story. This is not SpongeBob Thump or Squidward Tooth. This is a DVD that I found a couple of days ago in my attic. So it all started that I was wrecking about in my attic. There was like loads of episodes of SpongeBob there, like the normal, but there was this one thing, and it never had a cover on it. It only said SpongeBob's Reasons. This was called SpongeBob's Reasons. This one's really it was just really weird. But who'd ever call an episode SpongeBob's Reasons? So I took the DVD out and just checked the cover, but there was no cover. It just had a horrible made thing. So I went to put it on the VHS. It was the SpongeBob tune, but when I played it, SpongeBob, yeah, you see SpongeBob there, but the colour was rubbish and the music was playing backwards. It was just horrible, weird. And see, at the end of the fins, when you know it, like when you see SpongeBob playing the little clarinet thing, when he done that, he just looked at you and his eyes turned so realistic. And then it went to the episode and it said SpongeBob's Reasons, but there was no noise, no music tune. It all started at SpongeBob's house. You see Gary crawling up to his room and telling him like he's hungry because he never feed him. And the most savage thing I've ever seen. SpongeBob kicks Gary in the stomach and kicks him in his room. And I just found that weird. That was just the stuff. So Gary just starved to death and died. You have to see Gary dying. And then when Gary died, Patrick went to his house and says, "SpongeBob, you never been out since." And SpongeBob says, "You are not a friend. I hope you die," he says, and punches Patrick in the face. And then Patrick cries and goes back home. And Squidward was playing the clarinet, and SpongeBob had the TV on really loud, so Squidward wanted to complain. So he went to his house and knocked the door and says, "Can you put he said the F word, I don't know. "Can you put the F TV down, please?" And then this is where it all begins. SpongeBob says, "Go and F yourself, Squidward, you big nose freak," he said. And then Squidward actually got shocked. So Squidward just slapped him and said, "Take a hike," he said. And I said, "What the hell's wrong with this episode?" I said, "Is this for children even? Or is this just a spoof?" It's not a spoof. It looked the same SpongeBob, the same actors. So SpongeBob got really angry. SpongeBob had a machete. He took it out and went to Squidward's house. When he was sleeping, he decapitated. I can't say. He slaughtered him. He slit his throat and says, "You like that, Squidward?" And rubs it all over his face. He looks at the screen like for a minute, and I actually got really shocked. This is getting scary, guys. I mean it. He looks at the screen for a minute. I tried to turn it off, but it wouldn't turn off. This was just weird, this episode. I got really shocked. I mean, this is the scariest episode. I don't want to watch anymore, like I said. And then SpongeBob looked and says, "You abandoned me," he says. And I was completely terrified. And then the episode just kept going on, so I decided to watch more. SpongeBob went in the house and chopped up Squidward into pieces. And he ate him for dinner. This was just sick, guys. And the song was backwards. I couldn't take this song. And then Sandy goes to Patrick and says, "How you doing? How you doing, y'all?" And they're like cowboy style. And then Patrick told him about the fuss that he punched me in the face. So Sandy said he doesn't have the right to do it. And then and then the most terrifying bit, guys. This was the scariest thing I ever think. Patrick said, when Sandy says he doesn't have no right to do that, Patrick said, "Don't say that, the viewers will hear it," and looks at the camera with realistic eyes. And then Sandy goes to SpongeBob's house and says, "Why are you slapping people, eh?" Yeah. But Sandy never, and then SpongeBob and Sandy never, when Sandy went to his house, Sandy never even said nothing, like, for like 5 bloody minutes. Had to watch SpongeBob sitting down with Sandy for 5 minutes. And then actually he says, "Now get out, you skunk." And then she says, "What? Excuse me?" she said. And SpongeBob had realistic eyes and bloodshot and says, "I possessed you, you demon." She says, and then SpongeBob looks at the camera and says, "This is your fault, all your fault. You caused this. Now I have to kill Sandy." He said in front of the camera. He killed Sandy. And then Patrick was sleeping one night, and then SpongeBob, the sicko, he cut Sandy's intestines out and strangled it on Patrick. This was the terrifying bit. And then when he went back to his house, he eats all of them alive. He sees Gary's dead. He says, "That's your fault as well." Now he has bloody eyes, screaming at the backgrounds everywhere of dead bodies everywhere. And he couldn't take it anymore, so he burnt his house and gasolined it to death and killed himself. This was terrifying, guys. So, and it finally turned off. I never want to see SpongeBob SquarePants ever again. I wanted to burn it, so I just smashed it. I never want to see an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants ever again.